Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Real Talks One podcast. Today, we are meeting back within a month since I covered Dhruv Rathi's startup AiFiesta that he had launched at that time. I've shared the link as well. You can check out on the podcast that I made about him. And today I saw Dhruv Rathi's update actually about his AI Fiesta and the challenges that he had been facing. And this gave me an idea to basically do a case study on how to build startups, what are some of the challenges in AI startups, and how to solve them. So almost like 45 days ago, Dhruv Rathi launched his startup AI Fiesta, and there was a huge, basically, response. In fact, a lot of people started calling it just a wrapper, it's nothing much, etc. And even at that time, I specified that it doesn't matter what the product is because his moat is distribution. He is an influencer, has I think 25-30 million followers, and that's a pretty huge damn big market. And when he launches something, even if 0.001% people convert, that's a big deal. And that's exactly what happened, right? Like within 3 days of his launch, almost he had 1 lakh plus paid subscribers at 1000 rupees a pop, right? That's a tremendous amount of money. And then now his startup has been running for almost 45 days. And I must say that out of all the AI startups that exist except for ChatGPT, right, I am not even sure, at least in India, there will be any startup that has so much of revenue from the get go, from the very starting. That's one. Second, the kind of traction it is getting, I don't think so. Even Aratai and all would be getting that much kind of attraction because Aratai launched like almost, I would say, 6 years back. Only now with Made in India and that kind of flank, it is seeing a lot of uh, downloads, but it's like a free app, right? However, AI Fiesta is 1000 a pop, and if over 1 lakh people have already downloaded it within 3 days, that tells a lot about his and his distribution strategy. Now, focusing on like why startups are hard in particular and why AI in particular is extremely hard, it will be clarified in the next few moments. So first of all, the startup that Dhruv Rathi has made is actually a classic AI wrapper because all he's doing is that he's providing you one unified interface through which you can access multiple models, whether it is DeepSeek or ChatGPT, Gemini, etc. Right? And technically, there is no scientific innovation as such in this. It's a pure play business. But hey, it's still a startup, even if it is a wrapper, right? And the question then people would ask is RN Bansal, hey RN Bansal, saw your message there. Happy to have you here and answer any questions if you may have. So the focus here is a lot of people may think that this is a AI like it's a wrapper startup and why it should be successful, etc. Yes, Aryan, I am in Indrapuram, Ghaziabad. So people may ask these questions, right? And the question now becomes is even if it is a wrapper, there are multiple wrapper companies. I have made a podcast also defining what is a wrapper and what is not. And this startup particularly falls into the category of a wrapper because that's all it is, right? Um, but the point is because of his distribution and a lot of his clientele doesn't know about AI or particularly like how to use it, etc. He is able to sell this wrapper as well and charging 1000 rupees for that. Point is this that technically, let me answer like RN Bansal. RN, apparently, I don't have that much time to meet people in person for now because of my family situation, having two young kids and my wife. So I'll, if at all, if possible, this is the forum on which people can meet me through virtual conversations. Maybe I can set up a, like a Zoom call if people are interested in that. I can set that up, but physically meeting people is going to be challenging for you, for me actually. Yes, I have a startup by the name of Actionable Analytics. I can write it down. Really analytics dot biz. This is based out of US. We have been founders of this for almost now, I would say, over a decade now, almost 12 plus years actually. Started out in 2013. um, so right now, the focus has been on like AI Fiesta as to what it is doing and how it is doing. See, first of all, having that big of a like a distribution is almost impossible. Only handful of people can do that, like major celebrities who are either in Bollywood or Hollywood, or cricket or sports, or politicians, or maybe who are babas and gurus across the world. They have that kind of mass following, and probably they can leverage, or basically the influencers such as Dhruv Rathee and multiple others like Carrie Minati, etc. Those are some of the people actually who can build that kind of a thing. Second is like uh, uh, basically most of these people would do those kind of things. They actually either promote their own stuff, like because I've seen many of these influencers sell different kind of courses that they are doing. Many of them are started to do AI courses as well. And good part was that Dhruv Rathi jumped into this startup bandwagon and basically kickstarted that philosophy, which is actually very very commendable and extremely good. So now, why I think this specific startup that he has built, only he can pull it out. If somebody else would have done it, it wouldn't have got that much traction. And is one, because he has such a big mass following, which he was able to leverage and convert. Second thing is that a lot of other companies that are there, right? They, even if they make a superior product, let's say, which I think AI Fiesta is not, because it explains in today's his own, reflection of last 45 days. He did mention about several challenges that they got. So one was, the challenge was that people who subscribe to his service were unable to use his service. It's extremely bad. Second, he mentioned that their payment gateway was failing. A lot of payments were coming in, and payment gateway was unable to process the incoming request. Third, he said people who were able to enter and were able to use it, the Gemini stopped working. They were not able to have Gemini working. And last but not the least, because there were just so many issues that were coming in, they were overwhelmed with the customer support tickets. So all these problems actually point out to two specific things. One, there is definitely a problem of scale. So many startups in this day and age would love to have this kind of a problem, because having more customers that you are not able to solve is much better than having no customers, wherein you are trying to figure out where do I get my next customers. That's one part. The second part is that it also reflects that these guys are not software engineers actually. So they have built a startup on the hype, but they lack fundamentals actually. uh, uh, point is this, that the fundamental difference is there, right? Like if anybody starts a startup, doesn't mean they will be successful, even if they are a influencer, etc., right? They can definitely get the initial traction and all, get the hype and all, but to run a startup, build a scalable business, is a very very different game. What I liked about Dhruv Rathi is that he acknowledged the fact that they have done these kind of missteps. He publicly apologized, and then he fixed them over the next 45 days. Plus, he's rapidly adding new features to his startup to make it better for the people. I still believe there are a lot of headwinds for him as he competes in this environment. So, one thing is that uh, first of all, there could be other companies who can replicate this very easily. There is no technical moat as such. Like, anybody can build a like a wrapper very very easily actually, and offer all the underlying models through a single user interface. They can do it much better also. However, they'll not be also successful because he has the distribution. They may not have the distribution. So that's going to be a very big differentiator. Second thing is, right, that already, just after a chat gpt go had been launched, for only 399 rupees in India once AI Fiesta was on. I think it happened within the same week or within 1 or 2 days. And that's a big deterrent because ChatGPT by far is the biggest used model. It has almost a billion plus users who are using it right now, if not more. And uh, so with respect to that, it's still a distant dream for them. They have the most downloads. It is the biggest app ever, fastest growing app ever in the world. Nobody has beaten them yet. And since they launched at 399 rupees, and I myself have used Grok, Gemini, ChatGPT, all of them, and I must say, like, there is no parallel to ChatGPT. I mean, that's by far, with all its hallucinations and difficulties, it's the best app that is available for you today. So competing with that will be very very challenging because in India people are very price sensitive. So rapidly, like being able to continuously competing with them at a price point. So today he also announced that they have reduced the price point from annual subscription by 41% actually. So let's see if that basically helps them out. But I sincerely believe that unless they make it super damn dirt cheap, because ChatGPT Go is already available for 399 in India, it will be very hard sell to sell it at like 500 bucks to anybody else. Even if you say I have bundled like 10 other models, because people don't care about it. They care about the outcome. They don't care if it is coming from Gemini or OpenAI or Meta or Microsoft. Doesn't matter. They need the answers, and that's about it. Whether you do it with 10 models or 5, it doesn't matter actually. So I think he will be best served that if he comes out with an ensemble method. I think that's what he has done right now. That he'll take in the request, and basis on the query, he will divert it to the right model and give you back the answer. I would have suggested that he would have chosen the ensemble method, wherein he still sends the request to all the underlying models, but then when the response comes in, he basically post processes the response and generates a new response that will be suitable for the user. That approach could have been much better, but we'll see what happens in his current approach as well. So the biggest thing is he has to focus upon the scalability. How will the scalability matter? The scalability will basically matter based upon whether he is able to iron out the issues, whether he is able to sustain the cost that he has, because right now he just launched it. This is just early days for him, like 45 days have passed, right? And he has got the initial subscription from the people. So we have to understand whether this monthly subscription people kind of how much customer churn he has seen, and how many annual subscriptions he has got. So whether he'll be able to run this business for one full year will define whether this startup will run forever or not, or will run for a considerable period of time, or can he sell this to some other bigger company and exit out. I think that could also be a good option for him. I still believe there are still going to be a lot of challenges because they are not real software engineers, or they'll have to hire professional CEOs, CTOs, etc., to run this startup. And Dhruv can use his influence to keep selling this product, distributing it for more channels, if he really wants to build this as a startup and have real product sense. Because in my previous podcast also I've talked about product sense. So it's not about you use the hype and build something out and hope that it will work out some way. You really need the product sense to define what is the customer requirement, what should be prioritized, what should be the pricing point, who is my competition, what use cases I'm going to offer. All those things should be answered through product lens actually. And I think that is significantly lacking in the current setup that they have right now. Second is, of course, you have to be able to scale, it has to be performant, and it has to solve a business use case, right? And everyone in the AI field is right now finding out what those business use cases are. So those questions have still not been answered. Hallucinations have still not been reduced. So those problem points still remain, even if he's offering multiple kind of models together. So those things we have to still kind of focus on. And as a result, he also confirmed that they are still learning, they're adding latest features, and it will be too early for them to even state that is this startup a success or not. So I also agree with that point. One thing I liked about Dhruv from today's confession is that at least he's been truthful. He has been able to showcase all these challenges that he has, and he has not claimed this as a success. He's still saying it is a walk that they're walking right now, and it will be too early for them to claim it as a success. Neither it is a failure as of yet, even with all the negative reviews that he got because of the teething troubles, as we call it, while he launched his startup. But I think this is a good lesson for all other startups what not to do and what to do. So you can always start something basis on the hype that you see around AI, etc., like how Dhruv Rathee did, and you can even leverage your influencer distribution model to basically get the initial set of hype around customer acquisition and basically word of mouth publicity and things like that. But to carry it out sustain, you need proper processes and principles to build a startup. That's one. Second is to sustain it for a long period of time is a completely different cup of tea, and we'll get to know whether this basically delivers on that or not. And last but not the least, in AI we still need to find out the killer use case. We still don't have that as of yet. So any company will have a difficulty in uh, okay. So basically those things we have to basically look into. And but I would say, um, for now, this would be the only, I think, at least from India, only profitable AI startup that exists right now. I'm assuming it is profitable because if he already has more than 1 lakh subscription, and if everyone has given $1,000 for a subscription, that automatically makes it into close to, I would say, 1 lakh, 10 lakh crore, like almost 100 crore plus through this subscription that he is able to garner, right? And he still has to give those services now that he has taken the money. So I don't know what his costs are there, how much money he's giving to underlying models, etc. But I hope he will be at least break even or you know, cash flow positive on this. Uh, I'm assuming that's what the case might be. Unlike other startups that are perpetually loss making and have no sight line of sight for get, you know, cash flow positivity or like profits ever in the market. So with that, I'll wrap up my discussion for today. I'll take on some of the questions that Aryan Bansal has been patiently writing out, and I like to answer them. Are you starting to feel pollution in Ghaziabad as compared to US? Yes, I have been feeling it from the day I landed here in Delhi. Actually, almost 8 months, 9 months back. uh, Bro, you are wasting your time talking about Rathi. It's not waste of time. I mean, he has built a startup actually, so this is more about the startup rather than Rathi in particular. I mean, so that's what the focus has been, and I think there are lessons for everyone, whether it is Rathi or anybody else, because it is still a startup in the AI field, so it is very relevant for people who are wanting to get into that, and he's generating employment. He has hired so many customer support, software engineers, etc. So that's a kind of an opportunity for people as well. Then next, in that same 10 minutes, we can talk about Sam Altman. I've talked about Sam Altman multiple times, and he himself is a very big grifter actually. So he has built something incredible and all. That's great, but the way he operates himself, he has showcased himself multiple times that he's a pretty big, delusional person who is selling dreams and making money in the process for himself. I'm not saying that Dhruv Rathi is not that kind of a person, but I was categorically speaking about the startup that he was building. Sam Altman has also, by far, as I said, ChatGPT is the one of the best AI tools out in the market currently, and there is no parallel for it, whether it is Grok or Gemini. I've used LLM, multiple of them, and nothing even compares remotely to ChatGPT. Uh, 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 why talk about fraud AI company like AI Fiesta? I don't think it is completely fraud as such. I mean, it's just teething troubles. But this is how people who do not have idea about AI or software engineering will operate, and that is why it is very important that people learn from those failures as well. But good part is he basically accepted those mistakes, and he has tried to fix those things. Only time will tell. So I think that is actually good, very very commendable that he acknowledged some of those mistakes and he started to fix it and started working on them. In India, also, you see there are bunch of scamsters and fraudsters that are out there. I don't think he will put his credibility online to defraud people. This is on that because I think his brand is much bigger than the company that he has built. But again, only time will tell exactly how his company lands. But long story short, I think I'd like to summarize before I wrap up today with the following: that uh, building a startup is an incredibly difficult feat. Bootstrapping it is even more challenging. You have to have a business problem here. Dhruv Rathee startup is different because he already has a very massive reach, which is unparalleled and very very difficult for anybody to basically compete. That is why that's a single most valuable mode that he has. Next, I would say, if you are not a software engineer, if you do not have a good product sense, then you will run into such kind of problems with respect to scale, payment gateway, subscriptions, uh, and customer support, which he faced basically all the problems in all the areas. Most of them were driven by the scale, but then some of them are also very basic that those things should have been already figured out when they were launching the app, right? And last but not the least, it is very important to basically understand what your strong points are. It is also important to acknowledge the mistakes that you do so that you can fix them and basically move forward with that. So I think that is today's lesson, and I hope you probably like this session. And if there are any other topics, let me know. I'll cover them. Sam Altman and all, I have already made bunch of podcasts. I've already covered him multiple number of times, including ChatGPT, OpenAI, etc. So please review those. But then, if there are any other topics you would like for me to cover, I'll be happy to do that. Please like, share, and subscribe should you find this interesting. And we'll get back to you with another topic soon. Take care.